You make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Good evening. Welcome into Greenie Sports Cards Live. That means it must be Tuesday night, as we are here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern up until 8 p.m. with a slew of guests and content and hobby news for you. My name is Jeremy Levine, the man about town here in Cleveland, which is adjacent to the worldwide headquarters of Greenie Sports Cards in Twinsburg, Ohio. And it is our pleasure to come to you on the multi-stream every week as we continue to do as the world's very first multi-stream broadcast for the hobby industry. So if you are watching us on YouTube or the X or Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitch and other multiple points in between, you can interact with the show. We welcome your comments. Let us know where you're watching. If you have a question, drop it in the comment section. We'll add you to the show and interact with you as well. We have a jam-packed show this evening. Tons of content to get to, and it'll be capped off by our live auction with Alex at 9 p.m. as he does every Tuesday and Thursday. You can call your shot with Alex Shot on eBay Live and join Alex there. More on that to come later in the show, but make sure you hang with us and even come back at 9 o'clock for Greenie Sports Cards Live, the trading card edition. Greenie and I had the distinct pleasure of attending the National High School Football Hall of Fame induction weekend, and we got tons of content out of that, and you're going to see some of that tonight. We were able to talk to inductees Tim Couch, the #1 overall pick in the NFL in 1999 with the Cleveland Browns. We talked to Buckeye legend quarterback Cornelius Greene, a three-time Rose Bowl or three-time Team Up North victorious participant. He's an MVP of the Rose Bowl and a Big Ten MVP as well. And then we got to talk to the greatest that never was, Marcus Dupree, the High School Hall of Fame, the Football Hall of Fame named the High School Athlete of the Year after him. The award winner was Tavian St. Clair this year, who will be attending the Ohio State University. And Marcus was very gracious with his time. And if you have not seen that 30 for 30 on ESPN about his life, make sure you check that out. And he gave us some breaking news, which you'll hear coming up a little bit later in his interview. We'll have hobby news with Joe W. from Phoenix Card Shop, and we will get to talk to Keith Neuhart from Neuhart Cards as we feature dealers and participants of the National Sports Collectors Convention that's coming up in July. It'll be in Chicago at the Donald E. Stevens Center there in Rosemont. And we'll try and feature at least one or two dealers every week on the road leading up to the National. So with that, let's go ahead and welcome in the man himself, the namesake of Greenie Sports Cards Live and Greenie Sports Cards, Steve Greenberg, a.k.a. Greenie. Good evening. Welcome to your show.
Jeremy, once again, it's Tuesday night, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Our pleasure. I just, that's like the old thanks to the call. I had no choice. It's my job. I just
That's right. That's right. But yeah, man, the National High School Football Hall of Fame was terrific. We were we were there for like the cocktail hour and a meet and greet on Friday, and we have to thank Amber Phillips, Russell Johnson, Kenny Rhoda that got us in there, set us up, and I mean, what a tremendous time, and the people that we got to talk to, and we're going to show the three with Tim Couch, Marcus Dupree, and Cornelius Greene, but we talked to Ray Freeman and some other coaches that got inducted, and we got to talk to Leroy Kelly's daughter. So, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff that we'll have up, whether it's on our YouTube or some reels that Haley will make. But what a terrific time. What a terrific program that those guys have at the Hall of Fame. So pretty honored to be a part of that.
Yeah, and it's in its third year of inductions, and it's got a tremendous trajectory of something that's really going to take off here in the coming years down there in Canton with the Pro Football Hall of Fame as well. And Green, before we really get going tonight, we do want to thank our presenting sponsor, Collectibles on SI. If you want to master the world of sports cards collecting, Hobby 101 from Collectibles on SI is your go-to resource for expert insights, market trends, and the stories behind the most coveted cards. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, Collectibles on SI helps you navigate the hobby with confidence, explore the latest articles, and unlock the secrets of collecting at si.com/collectibles, part of the Sports Illustrated family. Find it on SI. So, Greenie, as I said, we had a lot to get to, so why don't we jump in and Haley, take us to the first interview with Cornelius Greene. We are here at the National Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, and we are blessed to have Cornelius Greene with us today, former Ohio State Buckeye and a member of the National High School Football Hall of Fame. And we're going to read off a couple of accomplishments here because as a Buckeye graduate, alumni, my memory isn't quite what it used to be. But this is an amazing resume. So, led Ohio State to an undefeated season in 1974, where you were MVP of the Rose Bowl, Big Ten MVP in 1975, 4 Big Ten Conference championships, a trailblazing quarterback for the Buckeyes, the first African-American starting quarterback for the team in 1973. And I don't know if you can see this, he has 3 gold pants adorning his neck right now, which are earned for defeating that team up north. Cornelius, thank you so much for joining Greenie and I today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure being here to conversate with you guys, and just looking back over all those tremendous awards that I've won, just looking back at all the great teammates and the coaches that I had, wouldn't have been able to accomplish those outstanding awards without them.
Yeah, we're here because of the High School Hall of Fame, which before you were a Buckeye, you're a tremendous high school football player, and you said you and another guy were the first from Washington D.C. to go to Ohio State. Yeah, how did that happen?
Coach Hayes had hired Rudy Hubbard, who was the backfield coach. He was from Hubbard, Ohio, played fullback for Coach Hayes, and he headed to the Washington, D.C. area. Of course, back then we didn't have all this sophisticated equipment we have with telephones and things like that. So he got the Washington Post every Saturday because we played Friday games. And so that's how he got to find out who I was. I was All-American in Washington, D.C. I had won 9 medals. I was All-American in football, basketball, and baseball.
Wow.
I got drafted in the second round by the Cardinals in baseball. So I thought I was going to play baseball and football at Ohio State.
What he said now?
What he cut that out. Especially after my freshman year, I didn't get to play a lot. So I went out for the baseball team one practice, and Woody found out. And that was the end of my baseball career.
When you were in high school and you excelled in all the sports, which was your first love, baseball or football?
Baseball was my first love, but I was better in football. So football got me the notoriety, and I threw 28 touchdowns and scored 12 touchdowns in high school. I also played defensive back, and I led the area with 80 receptions as well.
Was that kind of like the beginning of the dual threat quarterback?
Well, it seemed like I was the only one that didn't realize that Ohio State didn't pass.
Yeah.
I used to see some footage of Rex. I just thought Rex was running around. But I thought I'd be passing more at Ohio State. And unfortunately, Woody Hayes says 2 out of 3 things go wrong when you pass. So, and he didn't like those percentages.
Yeah, 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Yeah,
Doesn't
right.
always involve the pass. We were at the National High School Football Hall of Fame and talking to Cornelius Greene. Of course, this is the High School Hall of Fame, an amazing honor to be an inductee, but I would be remiss as a Buckhead not to ask you about some of that. I have a very dear friend who was at the school at the same time as me and remarked a couple years ago about Buckeye Nation. And he was like, was it always like this? Can you talk a little bit about the early 70s when you played and the evolution of Buckeye Nation to now, what that has become to be a Buckeye and what an honor it is?
Well, I got to put Coach Hayes up there because in 1972, we only had 500 African-American students out of 50,000. So we were just a half of 1% of the student body. So you had to give Coach Hayes his props for recruiting us. We only had 3 African Americans in our class, was me, Archie, and Woodrow Roach in 1972. And after 1973, when he played, Pete Johnson was a freshman. So we had all black backfield, me, Archie, and Pete Johnson. And it just seemed like things changed. So, you got to do the evolution. Anything involving the evolution has to go with Woody Hayes. I mean, he changed the whole evolution of not just the football program, but the university. Because after me, Pete, and Archie started, the enrollment went up for African Americans, and there was a point at Ohio State where it might have been like a 15-year run when there was only African American quarterbacks at Ohio State. So I'm very proud to be the first. But, and being the first, it was tough. I was averaging 50 letters from the Klan a week. I was getting death bed calls. So my freshman year, I got an ulcer, from that type of pressure. And stress. So I thought I had it all under control outside, but inside, obviously I didn't. But after we got that together, I started my sophomore year. We went 10-1 that year, and I'm proud of my record at Ohio State. Big Ten record, 22 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie. Never lost a home game. I'm 18-0 at home as a starter. Overall record, 30 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie. You can't beat that.
You brought up Archie Griffin, only 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. We're Buckeyes. We've heard the legacy. You played with him. How good was Archie Griffin?
Well, before I even talk about how good he was as a ball player, I want to talk about the person he was, because we was roommates for 4 years. Mm-hmm. And he's my kid's godfather. I'm his kid's godfather. But what I think about Archie, our freshman year, we used to practice twice a day, and the only day we was off was Sunday. And that Sunday morning, Archie's up at 6:30 going to church because he was from Columbus. And that was amazing, because all I wanted to do was sleep on that Sunday. I was the only off day.
Right, yeah.
And so I just saw how his career was taking off because he loved the Lord. I did too. But there was a day that changed both our lives. Our freshman year, there was a knock on the door. Neither one of us wanted to get up. Finally, I got up. And it was a guy, remember his name, Douglas Unzo. He was from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. He had his Bible. And here we wanted another 10 minutes of sleep, and here he wanted to come in and share the Bible. And we let him in. And I think that changed our lives. We joined the Fellowship of Christian Athletes that day. And it was almost like when he was knocking on that door, it was almost like the same thing with the Lord, You can tell him to come in, or you can tell him to go away, or act like you didn't hear. And so, fortunately, we opened up that door and accepted Christ into our lives.
Last question for you here, and it might be hard to top that advice. I'll ask you because we are at the National High School Football Hall of Fame, and you mentioned when you were coming out of high school and college what a stressful time it was unfairly. Looking back on that, what advice could you give high schoolers today, that the 18, 19, 20-year-old kid that might be going through a tough time? How can you help them get through that?
Well, right now it's even more stressful because you got the TV, you got the cameras, and now these kids are rated 5-star, 4-star, 3-star. Now kids are getting paid in high school and then going into college. So, I mean, it's really tough for families are more involved now. Agents are involved with the families. So it's a very complicated situation. You know, for me, I always got to say you got to pray on that situation. Hope for the best.
Let me ask you one more question because you have the gold pants, and we're in the collectibles industry. We talked a little bit. You have a ring on as well. Did you ever collect anything, any of your own memorabilia? Did you collect autographs, anything?
I was a record collector.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I had back in the day, I had about 4,000 albums.
Yeah.
And I moved about 6 years ago in Washington D.C. I had to
Wow.
give up all those albums.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was a record collector.
Do you have a football card?
Yes, I do have. It's not a high school football card, but I do have
Right.
a Ohio State football card.
Yeah. Do you have an NFL football card? Were you in Tops or anything?
No, I wasn't in Tops or anything like that.
But you have a Buckeye card.
Yeah, I do have a Buckeye card. I was
Pretty
with
cool.
Dallas briefly and Seattle Seahawks.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, we appreciate you joining us.
It's my
and
pleasure,
go Bucks.
guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, OH.
I
Always.
know.
All right, our
Thanks.
thanks to Cornelius Greene, high school Hall of Famer and former Ohio State Buckeye and a Buckeye legend.
Cool.
Very cool. Talking to, yeah, we had a great time talking to Cornelius, the first African American starting quarterback at Ohio State, and what a resume in high school and in college, and he's got some stories, and he could talk for days. You're muted, Jeremy.
Yeah, I haven't said anything yet.
Well, but you were.
Well, I will. Yeah, he was a real pleasure to talk to. Member of the Ohio State Athletics Hall of Fame, inducted in 1998. He's a member of the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame, inducted in 2019, and he is now a member of the National High School Football Hall of Fame, inducted this year in 2025. So, yeah, there was no shortage of content, Greenie. We were then able to catch up with Marcus Green, who, was Bo Jackson as Bo Jackson was becoming Bo Jackson is the best way I could describe it. If you have not seen that 30 for 30, it does encapsulate it. This guy was the best that ever was. One of the greatest high school athletes of all time. Went to Oklahoma, played for the Sooners. He was highly recruited. He set a Fiesta Bowl record in rushing in 1983 with 249 yards. He was a dynamo in high school, as we found out. Green, he played basketball, he played baseball, he ran track as a 4.2 athlete, and just an amazing story that was derailed by injury. And the high school award, which is really the high school Heisman, is now named after Marcus Dupree, and we had the pleasure of spending a couple minutes with him. Haley, if you'd roll that, please. We're here at the National High School Football Hall of Fame, and we have the honor and distinct pleasure of welcoming one of the very first inductees and a true legend among high school.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Marcus Dupree.
How y'all doing?
Yeah. So we know all your accolades in high school. Well, you were a standout in all sports. What drove you to football?
Well, just contact, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love baseball.
Yeah.
Just everybody around there was just football. So, and then it was contact, and I played defense too. So, I guess it's just something to play.
Yeah.
Played basketball as well.
Yeah.
Ran
Track.
4.2, 4.3.
Yep.
Unbelievable athlete. If you haven't seen the 30 for 30 series, check that out.
Well, I just got a text a while ago. They're gonna be doing a movie about me. So my lawyer's like, Marcus got a movie. So,
Marcus, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So National High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Not only were you inducted in the initial class, they have named an award in your honor.
Yes.
For the High School Athlete of the Year. What does that mean for you after all of these years to kind of reflect on that and have a legacy award in your name?
Well, I look back and I went to the University of Oklahoma, but I didn't go to win a Heisman Trophy. I went to try to win a national championship, which we probably would have won back-to-back championships. And now, I think about a couple of verses in the Bible say, you may not understand what I'm doing now, but you will later. And even though I didn't win the Heisman Trophy, I'm living now to present the high school Heisman Trophy that will go on forever and ever. And I think that's a great honor, and you just never know what God has in store.
Yeah. So we know, again, Oklahoma, USFL, NFL, you had different jerseys. Have you ever kept any of your own memorabilia?
Yeah, I still have all of it.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
What's your most prized possession? You have some rings, you have a jersey, a favorite something?
I guess this ring, because you don't find too many guys who win the offensive MVP and still lose the game. I mean, Wysmierski just did it this year, which was I was shocked with Arizona State. And matter of fact, I played against Arizona State and got the MVP. So that's ironic.
Yeah, we know that you have some trading cards. You have Topps USFL. You're still getting contacted by Panini and Topps to make cards, right?
I am. And I'm sure there's going to be more once this movie come out. So, guy sent me a picture of a card. He said, "Mark, you realize this card is $550?" I said, "We need to sell about 10,000 of them."
Yeah. What can you tell us about the kid that's winning the award, the quarterback?
I don't know that much about him because I really don't keep up with the high school stuff much as I do the college stuff.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go and watch some of the film tonight. And I'm not up this way, so I'm in the South. So we have so much going on in the South. And my grandson plays at Jackson State, so he keeps me busy. So I'm going to do some research on him tonight. But I hear he's a pretty good kid. I heard that he probably may even start before the season's out.
We're Buckeyes, so we hope. We can only hope so. Yeah.
You're an individual athlete who ascended to the highest level and highest accolades at one point in your career, and then faced a tremendous amount of adversity.
Right.
In hindsight, when you look back on that, you can talk to high schoolers. What do you tell that 18, 19, 20-year-old kid that you know now that you might not have known then?
Just being patient in the process. I mean, you're going to go through a lot of stuff. All our college coaches are going to tell you the same thing. Listen to your coach, listen to your parents, and understand the process. Understand that all the coaches are going to tell you the same thing, but you go and pick the school that you want to be at. I mean, I know they're going to end up probably reversing some of all this transfer portal stuff because that's too much transfer. So pick a school that you're going to be happy with, stick it out. And I understand sometimes you may want to transfer to one school, but one time, that should be it. You shouldn't transfer 3 or 4 times. I think that's outrageous. So just being patient in the process. Because what's for you, what God has for you, can't no man get in the way.
So you said you have a movie. What's next for Marcus Dupree?
Well, me and Coach Switzer are working on a big project with Walmart, Costco's, and Kroger. We're going to feed the world. We're going to hopefully grow all their vegetables and herbs, and we're going to put one in my hometown. We're going to put one in Oklahoma. We're going to put one in Michigan, and be able to, it's a big contract, like $1 billion.
We appreciate your time. We're here at the National High School Football Hall of Fame, and Marcus, thank you very much.
Thank you guys for your time.
Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Peace out.
You.
Jeremy, if there is one thing about Marcus Dupree, is he's got a big personality, and I mean, he lit up that whole room, and you could hear him, and not in a bad way. Like, he would walk in that room, and he commanded that room, and everybody wanted to talk to Marcus Dupree.
Yeah, he was one of the most highly recruited high school players ever in history, and he remains one of the great what ifs of sports. And I think there's something dynamic about that, and he's proof that sports isn't everything, and there is life beyond it, and you're able to overcome adversity. And he shared with us they're going to make a movie about his life, and so we'll look forward to that.
He's also very humble, very nice, very easy to talk to, and that's really remarkable.
Yeah, that event was a lot of fun. Again, the National High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony. The 3rd annual was this past weekend, and it's a who's who of stars and other notable names that didn't necessarily ascend to the collegiate or NFL level and coaches, but it's a remarkable growing organization, and it was really cool to be part of it. And then we'll wrap up our interview segments from this past weekend with Tim Couch. Of course, was the #1 overall draft pick here in Cleveland in the 1991 draft. And I mean, he had a remarkable high school career in Kentucky. He's a Kentucky legend. He's a legend at Kentucky, the university itself. And he had an up and down career here in Cleveland, but he is sort of a nostalgic, beloved figure, and it was really a pleasure to get to talk to Tim Couch. So from the National High School Football Hall of Fame induction weekend, here is Tim Couch. Here at the National High School Football Hall of Fame induction weekend, and we have the distinct pleasure and honor of welcoming a Kentucky Tim for a time. All kinds of record-setting performances in high school, and that led you to the University of Kentucky and eventually a career in the NFL. With the benefit of a little hindsight now at this age, when you look back on high school, what can you tell that 18, 19, 20-year-old kid that you know now that you wish you knew then?
Oh man, I would tell them to embrace the moment and really enjoy those high school years, because first of all, they go by way too fast. And like you said, I made it all the way to the NFL, but I truly believe that some of my greatest memories being a football player were from those high school days. They're just something so special about the Friday night lights and that sense of community coming together to support the team. And you're out there playing with guys that you grew up with from kindergarten all the way through high school, and that you've known your entire lives, and you're accomplishing things with, winning games and setting records with, and all that. And it's such a special time in your life. I would tell them to put in the work and embrace it. Take a second to step back and realize these are some of the best years of your life. And it's an awesome time, and you make some great memories, and you make some friends that's going to last a lifetime. So it's a special time in your life.
Before you went to Kentucky and then on here to Cleveland, what was like a game that stood out that you remember from high school?
There was a lot. I think probably the one that stands out to me the most would be the night we set the national passing record. We were playing our biggest rival in the regional championship, and we were able to break the record, win the regional championship, and beat our rivals. And so there was a lot going on in that game. And so I would say that was probably one of the most special ones, and just ones that I'll never forget. Just because we accomplished so much that night, and it's just a great moment for not only myself but my teammates and coaches and the whole community where I grew up. Is just a really cool night.
We're here for Greenie Sports Cards live out at the 2025 National High School Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and one of the inductees this year, Tim Couch, high school legend in the state of Kentucky. Tim, since we are talking collectibles, do you have a piece of memorabilia or something that you look back with personal affection, maybe a jersey, a trophy, something along the way that really stands out for you?
Yeah, I've got the #1 jersey that the commissioner gave me when I went on the stage, and also with the jersey I have the card that the Browns turned in that they were going to draft me #1. So those are that's probably my most prized possession, because obviously that's that's the day my life changed. That was a dream come true for me, not only to be an NFL quarterback, but to go into the league as the #1 pick in the draft is, it's just a dream come true. It's something I never even fathomed would happen to me. I always dreamed of being an NFL quarterback, and it was always my dream. But just to go into the league as the #1 pick, you never think that, So, and I was just so happy to be coming to Cleveland, it being their first year back in the league in 1999, and kind of being the first player picked in that new Browns franchise was just so cool and such a memorable experience for me. So probably that jersey with that card is kind of the best piece for me.
I know exactly where I was when you were drafted at the Great Lakes Science Center in Cleveland at the watch party.
Okay.
Where were you when you get that call, and what was the emotion behind that? Coming from your high school career, college career, now you're the #1 pick in the draft.
Yeah, I was actually in Madison Square Garden at the draft, and I was backstage with my family. And it was just it's an unbelievable moment. I didn't know. I kind of thought the Browns were going to draft me, but you never know until they actually say the name. They actually told me right before I went out on stage that I was going to be drafted, and it's an emotional moment, man. With your family. It's everybody that kind of helped you get to that moment is back.
Well, little technical difficulties. Jeremy, you're muted again, but Tim Couch had some good stories. We asked him about being on trading cards and tops, and we'll probably be able to cut those reels and post them later. But we had a pretty good conversation, and we also did tell him about Adam being his super collector and having the most cards registered. But fun conversation with Tim Couch as well.
Yeah. We lost Haley there, but and the video, but we'll get that back. And
We did lose Haley. Yeah.
We'll her laptop just restarted. So yeah, and he had a special surprise for Adam, which we'll get that shared. But despite his career falling short, really due to injuries, that guy got beat up here in Cleveland as the first overall pick. He still was the only Browns quarterback to lead them to the playoffs between 2002 and 2019 until they made it again upon the return. So to me, Tim Couch is a beloved figure. He was the right quarterback at the wrong time for this franchise. And but from a nostalgia standpoint, he's still the number one overall pick at the return of the franchise in '99. And it was a pleasure getting to speak with him.
I would like him to have been our quarterback last year here in Cleveland.
Yeah,
with some probably 2 years ago with a healthy Nick Chubb or anything. But yeah, so that's what we'll go with that.
Let's see if we'll pick it up. We'll have him as reels and play him. Yeah. We won't worry about that again. Because we've got some hobby news to get to, and we still have Keith Neuhart from Neuhart Cards that will be joining us a little bit later, and we'll get to talk to Joe Wysmierski from Phoenix Card Shop. And of course, this segment of hobby news is brought to you by Cut the Nonsense, the new weekly collectibles broadcast with hobby insiders Danny Black, Mike Giuseppe, and Joe Wysmierski himself. Episodes of Cut the Nonsense are available on YouTube every Wednesday. The first one launched last week, and this thing took off like a rocket ship, and we can't wait for the next episode to come out on this Wednesday. And with that, we will welcome in our hobby insider, Joe W.
Hey, Joe.
Thanks for having me. So we did have a good week, I would say, with the Nonsense release, and Series 2 baseball went wild last week. We completely sold out of all of our hobby boxes of Series 2. That's how popular it was. So 7 total hobby cases, which it's not a ton, but it's a lot to go in a week. And then we just had a good pickup in the shop today, which is just an odd pickup out of a set called Decision, which typically makes political cards. This is a numbered 5 of 5, and it has a shredded up tender in it. It's a Caitlyn Jenner 5 of 5. So that just popped in the shop here, and I mean it's a $20 card all day, so kind of interesting.
How much is the money that's cut up in the card worth?
I really couldn't tell. I'm guessing just took a single on it, but it's like wild, right? That's made like it's a money relic. I don't know if it was game used or purchase used or whatever, but
contribution dollars.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it literally is a 5 of 5, which is an eBay 1 of 1, which is a bookend.
Stop it! I'm going to cut you off.
So we do have a good release week, Greenie. We have Topps Inception Baseball. We have Contenders Optic Football and Select Basketball to really headline the week, which are great products. I'm going to start with the basketball for you, Greenie. So basketball, right now, a lot of trade talk. We're in the NBA Finals, which I don't know. I mean, everyone was on the Pacers, and now the Thunder have stormed back, and the Pacers star is hurt with the calf injury. So what's going to happen? Arizona native and Perry High School graduate Jalen Williams, 40 points. So these are all get in Select basketball. You're looking for tie-dyed parallels that start at 20 or numbered to 25. You're looking for patch autos. You're looking for just a straight up auto, veteran cards, but really the top rookie that you are looking for in Select is going to be Stephen Castle. He's the rookie for the San Antonio Spurs. that is your guy. He did win the Rookie of the Year this past year, and a lot of the trade talk for the Spurs to either go after Giannis or go after Kevin Durant, a lot of that's focused on teams wanting to get Stephen Castle added to their roster. So this is going to be a great product. It's always a fun rip. As you saw there, Jared McCann. Jared McCann came from Stanford and finished his last year at Duke. He has a huge social media following on TikTok. He dances, does tons of videos, but he plays for the 76ers. And he's another good chase. He's a big fan favorite because he does cross over into the social media status there. You a big Jared McCann fan?
I'm going to check him out now. Yeah, I'll check him out. No, I'm not frozen. I just didn't really have an answer at the ready. There you go.
Okay. No worries. No worries. Yeah. That is select basketball. There are some case inserts. You have Reed Shepherd there. Reed Shepherd came out of Kentucky with super, super high hopes, but very, very raw. So he played a lot of time in the G League, but he's definitely someone that, you know, the Rockets are another team that's really looking to make a big splash in free agency and up the trade, and looking at KD. So there we have Luka. He's not in his Lakers yet, but those tie-dyes number to 25 are gorgeous cards.
Does he have a Laker card yet, by the way? Has somebody made, or like a Panini Instant or something, probably?
He does have a Topps Now Lakers card.
A Topps Now, yeah, okay.
Jim just, you know, airbrushed, but yeah.
I didn't know if Topps got him in one of these products, but.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. He will be.
Absolutely.
He'll get carpal tunnel next year.
Yes, he will. Maybe we'll see more of the Lulu. So that is basketball for us. Then we're going to move into baseball. So baseball is 2024 Inception Baseball. Inception's a fun product. It's really artsy, like design. It's a thicker stock card. You're looking for patch autos in Inception Baseball, but this is 2024 Inception Baseball. So Ellie De La Cruz rookie, the Jacksons. So you're looking for Jackson Merrill, Jackson Churio, Jackson Holiday, Skeens rookie. Inception's always a fun product, but this is typically not a product that somebody who likes to grade cards is chasing after, because these are constantly hard graded cards, just because of the way that the art is on the card. It can look like white edges and soft corners. So, but it's a beautiful product. 2024, a great rookie class. So it should be very, very well in shops.
That's fun. I mean, that Ellie De La Cruz, I'd like to get the one in the picture there with the little red on it.
Red.
Yeah.
Greenie, do you like Inception?
I do. Yeah, it's a pretty neat product. I like that the patches are like really well done. They're not just plain, and you know they have a lot of different colors, a lot of different things. They use the logos a lot in these types of products.
Yeah, it's a breaker's dream. It's a 1-pack product, so
yeah.
Not a ton of sorting, a lot of meat, not a lot of fillers. So it's a great product. And that brings us to another 1-pack product, which we're going to finish off the hobby news, and that is Contenders Optic Football. That's
a 1-pack product.
Yeah, Contenders Optic.
Wow.
Contenders, okay. Normal Contenders is about 6. I think it's 6 packs. But Optic is a single pack. Typically, there's 2 autos per box, numbered card, some base cards. But this is for the people that like the real shiny stuff. Contenders Optic is, dude, it's gorgeous. I mean, it really is gorgeous.
It is. It's a shiny product.
Yes, you have the opportunity for pulsars, which you can see there. That is a pulsar card where it kind of looks like it's glittery, and that's a Roma Dunze. The big chase is obviously in this product. You're looking at the quarterbacks that are still available to you, which are Michael Penix and JJ McCarthy. Then you're looking Roma Dunze, who's a big one in here. Keon Coleman, and then as you can see there, the gold vinyl.
That's a throwback to the 04, huh?
Yeah. and it's a gold vinyl, Greenie. Those are the gold vinyls in Contenders Optic are so gorgeous. The cards are just absolutely beautiful. The inserts are great too, as you can see here. We're just limited to those people that can sign, so you still can get a gold vinyl Jaden Daniels that just won't have any ink on it.
I like that 04 throwback. That's really cool. Do you guys have any Larry Fitzgerald ones in the shop?
Yeah, we've got tons of them, Greenie. Absolutely. We're just holding on. We're waiting for him to see if he pans out.
See if he plays again. He hasn't retired yet, has he?
No, he really hasn't, but
Right.
I wish we had any of those still in the shop here. It's just a gorgeous card. It really is. It does have a thicker stock, so it's not like normal Contenders. It's slightly thicker, but you have the opportunity also for on-card autos in here, not just stickers.
Love it. I like that. It's a nice product. It really is.
It is. It's a one-packer, though, so it's filled with hits, not a lot of filler. This week is, Select, you're going to have multiple packs, so you're looking for court sides, different premier levels, those type of things. But there is a premium to having a product with great autos and a lot of packs. So it will probably come out at, I'm guessing $350 to $400 a box for basketball, maybe even higher. That might even be light. But that Inception baseball, that's probably going to headline as the best for if you're looking to get a big name hit, just because there are so many rookies that are littered throughout that product. So exciting
Good stuff. I like it.
All right, Joe, let everybody know where they could find you tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow we will be on YouTube on Sports Cards Nonsense YouTube page. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you get those updates of when the show is for Cut the Nonsense. And then you can always see us at PHX Sports Cards on Instagram at 58th or 59th and Thunderbird in Glendale, Arizona.
59th and Thunderbird. 59. You'll get the address right one day.
I'm trying.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe.
All right, Joe. Always a pleasure. Thank you. Looking forward to tomorrow's Cut the Nonsense, episode number 2.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
All right, Greenie. We have just a minute or two before we welcome in our next guest, Keith Neuhart from Neuhart Cards. Haley has that one segment of Tim Couch
Ready
teed
to
up
go,
that was really personally important to us. So, Haley, if you've got that, let's go ahead and run that real quick.
The last thing we'll say is it's not even a question. So one of our employees is your super collector.
Okay.
He has every one of your cards. He has the most there's a register of like collections. He is the most so.
Oh, wow.
I begged him to come tonight. We didn't know that you were going to be there. So his name is Adam Byers, and this is Tim Couch. And Adam, this one's for you.
Appreciate it, Adam. Thanks, buddy.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
very much.
I appreciate y'all.
your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely.
Our thanks to Tim Couch,
Oh, yeah.
Kentucky legend, and now a 2025 National High School Hall of Fame inductee. Tim, thanks so much.
Thank
Cool.
you, guys.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. No problem.
There we go, Jeremy. There we go. Yeah, that was cool.
We got it in. We didn't miss all that much. So, Haley, thank you for teeing that back up.
It was funny. So I screenshotted that, and when I got in the next day, I showed Adam a picture, and he was like, "Oh, that's cool." I said, "Do you know who that is?" He's like, "I said that was Tim Couch." He's like, "Oh my god!" He's got a football helmet on and all of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's a couple years older now.
Yeah. Great guy, though. Again, our thanks to the National High School Football Hall of Fame for having us out there and giving us the opportunity to talk to a number of legends. Lots more content to come from there. And our thanks to Joe W. Check out Cut the Nonsense, available at 8 o'clock tomorrow night on Sports Cards Nonsense YouTube page. And, of course, Greenie Sports Cards is presented by Collectibles on SI in support by Sports Cards Nonsense. And so they're helping bring this tonight's segment to us as well as Sports Cards Nonsense. And we'll be joined shortly here by Keith Neuhart from Neuhart Cards, which is a well-known sports cards collectible enterprise based in Delaware, Ohio. They specialize in sports cards, autographs, memorabilia, and have a very strong presence on eBay since 1998, in fact. So Can't wait to talk to Keith, learn about the road to the National Sports Collectors Convention and his history in the hobby. And with that, we will welcome in Keith Neuhart.
Hey guys, how are
Hey,
we doing
Keith.
today? Hey, how are
Good.
we? Awesome,
Hey.
awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem. This is our first episode or segment of our road to the National Sports Collectors Convention. And,
Awesome.
we know that you guys are going to have a presence as you have the
Sure.
last couple years. So
Absolutely.
we want to talk to people around the area, what your
Yeah.
expectations are and where you came and
Absolutely.
how you got to there. So
Yeah.
first off,
Absolutely.
so your shop opened in 2010 in Delaware, correct?
That is correct. Yep, we're be 15 years, I think, in December. So, yeah, it's been quite a difference between when we opened in 2010 in the hobby to where we're at now. So, but yeah, been nothing but fun and love what I do every day. So,
How did you get to that spot? Like, what was the deciding moment that I'm going to open a card shop?
well, I had a card shop at a short period of time when I was in high school. So from high school until I went into college for about a year and a half, we had a shop in Marion, Ohio, which is where I was from. Went to college, had to shut it down. Buddy of mine moved off away who was running it for me. So kind of shut it down, but got the itch then. Went to Otterbein in Westerville, Ohio, played baseball. After that, got a real job in the banking industry. So I worked for Huntington right out of college. I was a financial advisor, wealth management. So I did individual stocks, individual bonds, mutual funds. So I've always loved like I'm not a paycheck to paycheck guy. I don't want to know what I get paid every 2 weeks. I want to have a chance to make, this much or this much, but by how much I sell. So love that part of the industry. The banking industry was changing. It was going from, an individual, I want to buy 1,000 shares of Google. I want to buy, a $500,000 bond, a municipal bond from Cleveland, going to more like annuities and mutual funds. And that's not me. That wasn't my game. I didn't like that. So my wife and I were walking around downtown Delaware in late 2009, and she said, "Well, why don't you open a card shop?" And it kind of took me back and stunned me. But yeah, it moved pretty quickly. We found a storefront pretty quickly, and at the end of put my 2 weeks notice in on Halloween in 2010, and opened up December 2nd or December 1st of 2010. So it was a kind of a long journey to get here, but again, been there 15 years now. So the industry's completely changed from where it was.
Keith, you may have all the inventory in your shop there, but based on your T-shirt, I think your wife has the ultimate collectible prize.
It was funny. I was looking it down like, God, I can't believe I wore this today. I might even have bought it myself. Saying, this is the way I feel about myself. I don't know how she feels about it, but thank you. I appreciate that. So
yeah. So you mentioned your last comment's a good segue into the evolution.
Sure.
We're heading towards the National Sports Collectors Convention here in late July. There is sort of that transitional moment post-COVID. Go back a little bit in history. What have you seen from when you started attending the National to now, just the explosion of the industry?
Yeah, it's really amazing what's come of it. I think the first National that we did was Atlantic City. I believe it was 2016, I think is our first one. And we had really no expectations. We didn't know what to expect. And it felt crazy at the time. You'd have 2 or 3 people at your booth and like, wow, this is nuts. And, we had, $5 cards to look through and people were digging through boxes, but really just weren't prepared for what was going to happen like after COVID and beyond. I mean, I think the year after COVID, when we set up, I think it was in Chicago, we actually sold out our inventory before the National, a day or two before the National. So, that really kind of just exploded. And going to this year, I mean, you never have enough inventory. We start buying for the National January 1st. So we've been saving inventory. So we have obviously a shop. We have 20,000 listings on our eBay page, Neuhart Cards. We do a Whatnot show. So we have our hands in lots of different fires, but still we do a huge amount of buying for the National starting in January, and we kind of hoard it and looking forward to kind of showing everybody what we have. So
I love watching these videos
yes.
that you put out once a week of,
yes.
and this stuff all walks into the shop, right?
It does. It's amazing. I always tell the story, like, it wasn't very many years ago when I had $300 to $500 on hand, to buy deals that walked in. That one walked in an hour before I left for vacation a week ago, and it was, like I said, mid 5 figures, and just with very little notice. Hey, I'm going to come in. Are you going to still be there? So yeah, it's changed completely. But yeah, it's amazing what we see on a daily basis. It really is.
Is there anything that you've bought, I guess, in the amount of times you've been open or recently, that you just put in your pocket and say, this one's for me?
Just yesterday.
Okay.
Yesterday, it goes back a few weeks, I would say, or a month. Again, out of the blue, the shop's open, and an older couple walk in. They have a bunch of sports cards, and I'm looking through them, and they're 50s, 60s, great, Mantles and Aarons, which are awesome. We don't see that much anymore. And then they said, well, we have some autographs as well. So they had a Lou Gehrig and a Babe Ruth cut autograph. Bold, beautiful, huge, just autographs. And so we helped them with the process. We sent them to PSA, just got them back again maybe a week or two. They came in yesterday, and I was able to buy those. So as of right now, I don't plan on moving those. I mean, they're really gorgeous. So those probably are gonna stick with me for a while.
So you'll be
you learned a lot in 2016 doing that first show.
Yep.
You've done a number of shows since then. What can you tell people, exhibitors, dealers, vendors, about sort of best practices of going and exhibiting at a memorabilia show?
Absolutely. I think the first thing, which to me sounds very simple and easy to do, is have your cards priced. When I go to a show, if you don't have your cards priced, I'm not going to ask. I don't want a different price than Bob got 5 minutes ago that Larry's going to get in 10 minutes. Do the due diligence, do your numbers, have your cards priced. Even if the number is, maybe a little above market or whatever, have some information for you. So when somebody comes up, you don't have to take 30 seconds or a minute or 2 minutes to look up current comps or anything. So, we have thousands of cards, that we sell, at the National. Every single card on our table at our booth is priced. Every card that we price in our showcases were priced within the last 3 or 4 days of the National. So everything is current, makes everything really easy. But I would say just do your due diligence, have an idea of what you're looking for. I think that's the simplest thing.
So at the National, you'll be at booth 3506. Where can people find that on their map? Have you scoped it out? Do you know where you are?
That's a great question.
We do. So we do. We know where you are.
I would tell you this much. The only thing I say is, if you were in Chicago for the last National, we were in the air-conditioned area. So everybody else was, our buddy Tom Fisher from Gemini Sports. He was in the sunny and 88 to 90 degrees all week.
I was over there too.
We were sunny and 68 degrees. We had to put jackets on. So we were kind of back towards, I think, the PSA, towards the TriStar booth area, by the escalator. So
people that are familiar with Rosemont, when they come in the front door, they will go to the right, and that's where you guys will be. You'll be in the right side there, but you'll have a pretty big display. What are some of the big things that you guys are bringing?
So we really I like to specialize in stuff that's $100 to $500. Now, when we talk numbers in this business, the common people will be, wow, that's expensive. When in our business, that's not crazy. So I love 90s stuff. I love old refractors. I love stuff you don't see every day. I'm a big Hall of Fame collector. So you're going to see Hank Aaron autographs. You're going to see Ken Griffey Jr. autographs. You're going to see that kind of stuff. So hopefully you're not going to see the, the same strawberry refractor numbered out of 57, at our booth that you're going to see at every other booth. We like to have a little bit different stuff. Again, really fairly priced. So, for the collector and the repacker and the buyer as well. So.
I don't know that you sell a lot of these, but I know that you watch a lot of women's basketball.
Yes.
Will you have any stuff like that?
Absolutely. A lot of it I collect. My daughter plays Division III basketball. We've really gotten into it. We went to the opening game of the Fever Sky this year. We go to a lot of Ohio State women's games. So yeah, love women, love the women's basketball. It's just pure. It's what the sport's all about. Yes, I will have a showcase dedicated to women's college basketball. So you're going to see Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and Juju and a bunch of other stuff as well. So absolutely.
Well, we can't wait to be there. We can't wait to see your booth. I'd love to come dig through the boxes and see your showcases.
Yeah.
3506 is your booth number. And if anybody wants to see you before that, where is the shop exactly?
Sure. We're at 820 Sunbury Road. That's Delaware, Ohio, which is a nice little bedroom community, maybe 15 minutes north of Columbus. We're also really active on eBay, Neuhart Cards. We have over 20,000 listings. Instagram under the Neuhart Cards, Facebook Neuhart Cards. So we're everywhere. So, easy to find.
Being in Columbus, it had to be the Neuhart Cards.
That's a weird one. When we first opened, my son's friend actually took Instagram Neuhart Cards, and once somebody does that, it's impossible to get it back. So there's a Neuhart Cards Instagram floating around out there. So I had to do the Neuhart Cards. So yes, it does have to do with Ohio State as well. Yeah, it is. It works out. Yeah. Yep. Yes.
All right, Keith, we appreciate you joining us. And man, the national, it's a monster every year. If you've seen it in Chicago, the footprint is as big as it's ever been. It was insane 2 years ago.
Yes.
Who knows what's going to happen this year?
I assume,
look forward to seeing you there.
It's going to be crazy, and looking forward to it.
Cool. Keith, thanks. We'll see you there.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. See ya. Yeah. Jeremy, his booth is terrific. His shop is terrific. Very nicely cleaned. Everything is great when you go down there to Delaware. And I mean, it's an easy jaunt right down 71. You get off his exit, Delaware, right down the road. I mean, it's probably like 5 minutes off the highway. So, cool. Very cool.
Yeah, we'll be featuring a dealer or two every week here on Tuesday night as we lead up to the National Sports Collectors Convention in Chicago. And jam-packed show tonight, Greenie. A lot of moving parts. I want to thank Cornelius Greene, Ohio State Buckeye legend, Tim Couch, Kentucky legend, number one overall pick for the Cleveland Browns, Marcus Dupree, the best that never was, Joe W. from Phoenix Card Shop, Keith Neuhart from Neuhart Cards. Our thanks to the National High School Football Hall of Fame for providing us access and the content. And make sure you stick around and come back for the auction at 9 o'clock tonight with Alex. It'll be on eBay Live. Again, Alex goes live every Tuesday and Thursday at 9. Generally goes about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on the feedback. And the auctions themselves are dictated by the participation. So tell him what you want to see. Football, basketball, baseball. He's got wrestling cards. He's got MMA cards. He's got soccer cards. He's got pop culture cards. So jump in, participate. All those auctions start at $2. And Green, you got combined shipping on those as well, right?
$4.99 for as many things as you buy. So, yeah, that's fun. Alex will be there tonight, and we look forward to seeing what kind of things he pulls out. And it's funny. The National is awesome, and it is the greatest show on concrete. Right? It's not turf; it's concrete. We can't wait to get there. I don't know. It's the 45th National Sports Collectors Convention, so we look forward to that. And what's funny is we didn't even discuss that this weekend is Fanatics Fest. So we'll talk about that next Tuesday and pretty much see what goes on at that show. The sports con, where celebrities are amongst everybody there. So, but yeah.
Very cool stuff. Plus you got Broadview Heights show coming up on June 28th. That's Saturday. Do you have the MLK cards within arm's length? That was the other breaking
The
news.
Muni
Lock kids are
yeah.
packed and shipping out as we speak. So if you've ordered a Muni Lock kids set, they are now sold out. So good on you for getting in and supporting the Greater Cleveland Food Bank on that. So
What wonderful packaging too.
yeah, very cool stuff. So can't wait to get those physically in hand in the package. So Greenie, great show
Rachel and
tonight.
I will be shipping out 300 of these tomorrow. So check your inboxes or your mailboxes or whatever box you get.
Very
POs.
cool. So
Yeah.
Greenie, thanks to you. Thanks to Haley. Join us every Tuesday at 7 and then hit the auction with Alex at 9. And Greenie, may the cards forever be in your favor.
Have a good night, everybody.